Hi everyone. It's end of the day, sitting on the steps behind my house, reflecting back on the workshop I taught, my signature workshop for Ask Like an Auctioneer called Your Most Powerful Ask Live. It's a 2-hour workshop, and today I was in San Francisco with an awesome group of product and engineering folks, and 2 questions. One question that came up in the room that might be useful to you is, can I use time as a reserve? And we think about a reserve, remember, is the idea that it's like a counteroffer. It's the minimum that you will say yes to as a counteroffer. So time can be a reserve for you. You can say, absolutely. So the answer is yes. Absolutely. You can say, I need an answer by a certain time, or I'm going to move on, meaning you're putting sort of a deadline on knowing if it's going to be a yes or a no or a renegotiate. So portion of the ask is actually has a timing component to it. So sure, you can use time as a reserve. You can use whatever is relevant to your ask as a reserve. So yes, if it feels right for you and it feels like there's a boundary there you can use as a go, no go, awesome, use it. And as an outcome of that conversation, somebody asked, well, what if your ask is something that sort of rolls out over time or has a long tail to it, and in the middle of the negotiation, it gets a little bit mushy about whether you're getting a yes or getting a no. And I think of that as something I think on dating apps are calling it breadcrumbing, where you're not getting fully ghosted. You're getting held on the hook, but just gently enough to not really know if they're going to reel you in or not. And that can be super confusing. So part of my answer to that is, if you get a sense that you're getting a no packaged up in a maybe, and it's frustrating or confusing to you, or it's stepping on your timing reserve, you get to say, I'm taking this as a no, and then move to your next step, which is your plan that you've designed for yourself based on the scenario. If I get a no, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? So sometimes we have to actually take charge of the situation by acknowledging a no that we're getting that might be packaged in something that doesn't feel like a no, but makes us feel like it maybe is, but we're unclear. When you're in that middle zone, you get to kind of decide where you're going with it and put a stake in the ground and say, I'm taking this waffling as a no, and then see what happens. Somebody asked me this week, in auctioneering, how do you know if you're getting a no from the audience? And there's lots of different ways I know. One is somebody that was putting their paddle in the air isn't putting their paddle in the air. Somebody who is, maybe it's down to a 2-person competition and one of those 2 people just stops putting their paddle in the air. I'm taking that as a no from them. Sometimes it's just a head shake. Great, nice clear signal. Sometimes it's just downcast eyes with no paddle in the air. Sometimes it's just a stoic smile for a really long time with no actual action. So I get to take all those things as I want to take them. If it's not a clear enough yes for me, I'll take it as a no, and I will move forward because I have goals and you have goals too. So yes, timing can be a reserve. And if you're feeling breadcrumbed, you get to decide if you want to take it as a no or not and move on so you can continue to pursue the goals that are so important to you, the goals that you've fallen in love with, the goals that you've fallen in love with so hard that it makes big Zofo courage type asking easier for you. All right, that's my Q&A for Ask Like an Auctioneer this week. Happy Monday, everyone.